The federal government has assured Nigerians that there will be no increase in the pump price of premium motor spirit, also known as petrol, anywhere in the country. This follows speculations over a planned increase in petrol price and the threat of nationwide strike by Organised Labour. Special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, stated that the market has been deregulated and will remain so. He emphasized that government will address the inefficiencies within the midstream and downstream petroleum subsectors to maintain prices where they are without having to resort to a reversal of the administration's policy in the petroleum industry.
Mr. President wishes to assure Nigerians, following the announcement by the NNPC Limited just yesterday, that there will be no increase in the pump price of petroleum motor spirit anywhere in the country. We repeat, the President affirms that there will be no increase in the pump price of petroleum motor spirit. We also wish to affirm that the President is determined to maintain competitive tension within all subsectors of the petroleum industry. He is determined to ensure that our policy drawn up as well as policy implemented follows the cue that there will not be any single one entity dominating the market. The market has been deregulated, it has been liberalized, and we are moving forward in that direction without looking back.
Public Affairs Analyst Dr. Jide Johnson joins me for more on this. Thank you for joining us on TVC News at 1. The President has affirmed there will be no increase in price of petrol. What is your reaction to this? And who really makes the decision on price in a liberalized petrol regime?
There's no sector of the economy globally that is completely deregulated, that is left for the free fall of the market forces. That's why you have agencies of government as regulators intervening in the process. And I think that this would be a right step in the right direction on the part of the government, retracing its steps, ensuring that there is due compliance with whatever is required by the operators within both the upstream and the downstream sector of the economy. So that's what people have been calling for. There's no way government can totally remove petroleum subsidy. There must be some forms of government intervention. Those intervention comes in terms of regulation.
So would, Dr. Johnson, would this then be in the form of some subsidy reintroduction in some way?
That's the implication. It was just not stated clearly by the special advisor. There will be one form of subsidy or the other in one way. When you look at it from another perspective, the government said they were going to give palliatives. What is palliative? You are removing subsidy on one hand and you are using the other hand to give palliatives. Then that's subsidy, that's indirect subsidy. I think the best approach which the government wants to adopt now is for the regulatory agencies within the oil and gas sector to intervene. You can't leave it into the hands of the independent marketers for them to have absolute control, with respect to the pricing. And that's why you have different types of agencies, TPR, NNPC, and the rest of it within the presidency, within the various arms of government. So as far as I'm concerned, this should have been the step that should have been taken from the onset. We cannot, no government in the world can allow a critical sector to be controlled and regulated alone by the market forces, by the individual operators. Right. I'll just digress a little. You know the intervention of NCC as regulators of the telcos industry. At one point in time, they come up with one policy or the other to regulate the market. So regulation by regulatory bodies is a form of subsidy. And that's what the government is trying to adopt now. because that's the right step in the right direction. Otherwise, the economy will be a free fall. Inflation will be more than 20. If there's no intervention in the next few months, we have about 30% inflation rate, and that will not augur well for the economy, and it will not augur well for the administration.
Well, before now, the Organized Labour had threatened to go on strike unannounced should the federal government increase, should there be an increase in petroleum products. But the federal government has described that as premature. What's your position?
Well, with the step taken by the federal government now, trying to intervene in the process, because that's the essence of you having government, that's the essence of you having regulation. I think that NSC will see reason with the government in not going about their unannounced strike, because government have made the assurance, the federal government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had made an assurance that, well, he's determined to ensure that there is regulation. Regulation talks about preventing arbitrary increases in the petroleum, in the price of petroleum products, particularly PMS. Don't forget that we are a monoproduct economy. The entire economy is dependent on oil and gas. So that intervention, I think, will assuage the feelings of NNPC, we assuage the feelings of NLC, and NLC will see reason with the government, and there will be no need for a strike, but for ongoing negotiation and discussion on how the implications of this removal of subsidy can be addressed.
Public affairs analyst Dr. Judy Johnson joined us from Lagos. Thank you for talking to us on TVC News at 1.
It's a pleasure to be with you. Thank you for having me.